So last time I asked you about Wendy Cats, and you reached out and you got some clarity on that for me.
I did. So the cats, Chit Chat and My Way, are her cats. From what I'm told, the cats are gone. So remember when Wendy called up here, she said that after I had tried to come and visit her, the next day she found out that the cats were gone.
Yes.
And gone means that, according to the person I spoke to, they were given away to a family. And there have been people hitting up like Wendy's side of things. I think Charlotte, somebody hit you up too, talking about they think they have Wendy's cats.
Somebody hit
remember they hit us. They hit all of us and said that they have Wendy's cats.
There have been people reaching out saying, hey, I think I have Wendy's cats, but like there's nothing that she can do about getting those cats back right now because they were given to a family. But the people that are reaching out are like, yo, once she gets everything together, she wants the cats, but they can't verify if the cats are hers or not.
But
because
they are alive.
They're alive.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
okay.
They're alive for sure. But she can get them back once she gets everything together. Now, y'all also had a question too about the firing of the attorney and how the attorney can push back if she can.
Yeah.
So from what I'm told is that this is really going to be left up to a judge. So what will happen is the firing is done on Wendy's end. So Wendy has already came out and said, no, I don't want you. Now it goes to a judge, and the judge is going to say, okay, Wendy, I want to know why Wendy Williams thinks that she doesn't need this court-appointed attorney. The judge will listen to Wendy, and then if the attorney is fired by the judge at that point, then Wendy will be able to say, hey, I have a lawyer that I think I want to bring in. And the judge can listen to Wendy and can actually consider that and to make that attorney a part of Wendy's team. But before the judge does that, there will be a test, kind of like a health update to see if she's able to make decisions, to see if, like, okay, does she know what she's talking about at that point?
Makes sense.
Yeah, but that would be good for her because her team and her people have been saying, yo, like, she's okay. So that'll put it on paper.
Depends what the questions are, too, though. Because, I mean, depending on what they asking anybody. I can go up there and sound retarded if you ask me the wrong things. You know what I mean? Like they got to be the right questions.
Yeah.
I would just have a conversation with her.
It probably is something like that.
Or 2 hours.
It probably is something like that.
Yeah, no, they got to ask questions because it got to be probably the same type of questions that they ask everybody in that.
Yeah, but what are the questions is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if
what
it's
are the
an
questions?
evaluation, it's definitely going to be. I know it seemed like it'll be something that'll trip her up, probably purposely.
Yeah, you can
It's
make
an
somebody sound
evaluation.
crazy depending on what you ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just wanted to give y'all that because I know y'all had the questions in the room.
Thank you.
So there'll be more on that, and we'll keep I'll keep you guys updated, and then we'll keep the listeners and the viewers.
We have
updated
another
as well,
update on the flight, the DC flight.
We do.
Yeah.
So at this time that we are speaking to you guys, we now this is our third update. What is being reported is that there definitely are going to be no survivors of the crash that happened near the Reagan Airport in DC. We do have a report for that. Let's take a listen. We don't have the report for that yet. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So in the meantime, let's go to Lil Yachty because Lil Yachty sat down with Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Shay Shay.
Yeah. And what happened with that? Because I know a couple years ago, he had said something about Nicki and Cardi. He kind of jumped in that beef, and he said he regretted it.
Yeah. And he's actually come out a couple times and basically, tried to apologize and said he shouldn't have inserted himself. But let's take a listen to him on Club Shay Shay talking about it again.
Cardi B and Arce on the album.
Yes.
That's lit.
Yeah, Arce's my big brother.
Do you feel that you have to take sides since Cardi B's in your label between her and Nicki Minaj?
Yep.
And whose side are you taking?
Cardi B's.
All the time?
Every time.
So if Nicki says, hey, we're going to do a song together.
I couldn't. As much as I probably would want to.
But you just can't do it?
Nah.
All right, so to clarify, that was the original comments back in 2018 when the Nicki Cardi beef was happening. No, that was Raquel. Shout out to my big sis. She had a show at TMZ called Rack Rants on BET. So those were the original comments that got him in trouble. But now
those are smart comments though. Law 20 and the 48 Laws of Power do not commit to anyone. It is the fool who always rushes to take sides.
Well, he said that it made Nicki Minaj very upset at him, and he regrets it. And now let's take a listen to that.
You and Nicki had a beef. You said you wouldn't work with her because your allegiance to Cardi B. You want to retract that, or you?
I have, and by the way, I respect both of these women. Aside from the differences, and I think they are both very talented women in the industry who have rightfully so earned their way to the top. And to be honest, I hated that I even answered that question because I kind of just inserted myself in something that had nothing to do with.
But you blocked.
I'm still blocked.
You still blocked?
It's cool. I love Nicki from a distance.
Have you
love Cardi?
If you know
Nicki ain't never unblocked.
I was literally about to say that. If you know Nicki Minaj, he ain't getting back in them doors, baby.
Once you outside, you outside.
And won't get in the club ever.
It's not gonna happen.
So
you gotta respect it.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can't be mad at her.
And then that's just you jumping in girl beef. You know what I mean? Like, even though he write for a lot of the female artists and everything like that, you just still gotta keep it where it's at. Like, you still a man. They women, let them beef. Let them deal with. Let them do that.
And I think at the time too, people gotta realize, like, when he said those comments, that was when like Cardi was so intertwined with QC, and it was like
that was home team.
Yeah, it was like they were all like this big family. Right. It was like, you know, all of that. So yeah. But back to the update on the crash that happened, the plane crash. Yeah. So we actually have the audio now. I want you guys to take a listen to it.
We've learned just moments ago that there are no survivors. This is now recovery mission. Newly appointed Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy spoke moments ago about the flight patterns.
The helicopter was in a standard pattern. If you look in the D.C. area, you'll see helicopters up and down the river. This flight pattern is seen oftentimes when you live in D.C. This was a standard flight pattern last night as well. The American Airlines flight coming into land was in a standard flight pattern as it was coming into DCA. So this was not unusual with a military aircraft flying the river and aircraft landing at DCA.
Let's bring back Gio Benitez. And Gio, that's why there's so many questions here. Everything seemed to be normal.
And that's what's so shocking about this, George. He said there that everything appeared to be normal. Now, we do have a grim update. They have recovered at least 27 bodies from the plane's wreckage, at least one body from the helicopter's wreckage. The American aircraft's fuselage was actually found inverted, and it was in 3 different sections underwater.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah.
That's
I did see on CNN though that the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter was on a training flight.
Right, that's what they said. Training mission, training exercise.
Yeah.
Somebody failed that training.
Yeah, because people are like, well, why would they have both at the same time? But from what you hear, it's like that's not uncommon. But they are trying to figure out how the helicopter, like how that whole thing happened. So
what was they training for? Like, that's what I want to know. Because when I hear the word training, I'm hearing like this isn't a person that really has a lot of experience.
What they're doing.
Well, when you start to fly, you normally have to put in a certain amount of hours before they let you get in the air. Yep. And normally those trainings are you're just learning your flight patterns. Like,
and there was other people in the helicopter, so they might have been training those other people in the copter.
Boy, that training did not go the way they wanted it to, clearly.
And I always wanted to know, and maybe you know this because you were a flight attendant, when it comes to plane crashes, right? Does the family get a certain amount of money from the airlines? Because I don't think you could sue because anybody would just sue for any amount of money. Like, is there like, you know, if something happens, the amount is $500,000 or the amount is $1 million? Because a lot of these people, you know, lose fathers, lose mothers.
I feel like the U.S. government probably gonna be responsible for this. If it was a U.S. the Black Hawk, a U.S. Army Black Hawk on a training flight, if they find out that they were at fault, I feel like that's who's gonna end up having to fit the bill.
I definitely think it's gonna be some. So you probably hear some lawsuits around this. I don't know the answer to that question to answer it, but I googled, and according to Google, families can receive plane crash victims can receive financial compensation or damages for the loss of their loved one. This compensation can include funeral and burial expenses, lost income, pain, and suffering. You guys heard the new Secretary of Transportation this morning say they're working with all these different people in the family. So I'm assuming that they'll probably try and figure a way to, like, you know, just help ease the financial burden. But this is just sad.
It's not the airline's fault at all.
Well, I think the
From what we're
FAA,
hearing so far,
FAA and those reports will come out with their determining fault.
Right.
Damn, yo. Man. Rest in peace to all of those souls. That's horrible.
Well, that is Jess with the mess.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right. Well, let's get to the People's Choice Mix. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.